What's up guys, I'm Jason. Welcome to a tutorial video on how to do hand tracking. So if you want to do decent hand tracking, well, we're going to talk about it. To keep it very simple and easy, I am using the iFacial mocap, which is my iPhone, to track my facial expressions. And I'm using a webcam, which is up here. You can't really see it, but it's up here. The webcam is actually capturing my hand motions. So that's how really hand tracking works. And I am currently using for my application, it's called Webcam Motion Capture, which is a one of the apps that you can use, which I will showcase both apps so you can actually pick whatever you like and fit for your budget or whatever your PC specs. So you can play around and mess around with them. So the one I'm using is actually a paid version, monthly subscription, because I feel like the tracking is way much more better than the other one, which is which is XR Animator. XR Animator is free, by the way. The one I'm using is it's paid version, but the tracking is so amazing. But anyway, and that's enough of the video. Let's get right to it. Right, let's show you how to set it up. Alrighty guys, let's begin on how to set up the things. Right, the first thing you want to do, if you are working on a scene with existing blueprints, what I recommend is to make sure you save copy, put save scene as, and you save a copy, so this newer one can be adjusted. All right, because I don't want you to lose your old settings and be like, oh snap, you messed me up. So make sure you do a brand new save scene as. All right, now that we got that out the way, let's do the basic setup. So obviously here, this is mostly for my end. We're using Snarbles, which is my model. And then make sure to put yes, recommend me, because we're going to be working some stuff up here. Do you need to track your full body? We're going to put no. We're not going to be using legs or yeah, we're not going to be tracking legs. But if you do want to enable legs, we can do that later in the application. Do you need to track your upper body? Yes. Do you have leap control? No. Do you have an iPhone? Yep. And do you have a webcam? And then here's my webcam. Yep. All that is true. Here is the thing we're going to have to pay attention with. We're using the iFacial mocap for my phone. And here we're actually going to change this to VMC. Okay. So the Media Pipe webcam is a built-in app for Warudo for hand tracking. However, there's just issues. You will see a lot of ghosting when it comes to hand tracking, and that really just affects how your end product looks like. So whenever you're streaming, if you wave high with like the default Warudo tracking, it would look really weird. So make sure you use VMC, because we're going to be using a dedicated application for tracking using your webcam. So VMC. Now that that's done, you don't put no secondary pose, and boom, there you go. Take the full body template, yup, and boom. And of course, it's really up to you if you want to import your expressions, yes or no. I don't really have expressions on mine, so yeah. I want a background to be transparent, and boom. Alrighty, so two things that should happen right off the back. If you are using a brand new model or brand new scene, right? So this is my custom stuff already that I saved as from an existing blueprint, so this doesn't really matter. But these two are the ones that should pop out, right? So first things first, we're gonna adjust this before we go deeper into the tutorial. We want this to not only track this, we want it to track our head and pelvis. Okay, these two are important. Why do we want the face tracking to handle our face, our head, and pelvis? Well, think about it. You want your iPhone to focus on the movement of your heads, or the movement of whenever you move to side to side. And I can show you guys as well. Let me see if I can pull this up here. What it does. So right now, whenever I move my head with my iPhone, it moves my whole body. Okay, now let me enable this without, let me actually just leave it when it was not enabled, which is right here. Let me do the head and pelvis, remove this and remove this, and then enable it. See, it's not really as expressive anymore. It's tracking my face, but it's not really as expressive as it was. Alrighty, so now that's the only changes you have to make here to make your character look more snappier, which I prefer like this. Now, if you don't really like it, you can disable these two and mess around, but these three I feel like is the best way to do for when it comes to tracking. Alrighty, now let's go to pose tracking. Now this is the most important one, right? This is your VMC. This is how you get your hand captures. Now, here's what we're gonna disable right away. We do not need this app to track our head. We are using iFacial mocap. We don't need to track our pelvis because we're using iFacial mocap. And of course, we're not, if you really want to, you could track your left leg and right leg. That's only if you're gonna stand up. If you're doing some kind of like, I don't know, just doing some backflips like filling in, then yeah, you can leave it enabled, but we're not doing backflips. So disable these two. Now, again, these are optional. You can enable it if you want, but you don't have to. Alrighty. Now that you have these two set up, you're good to go. So once you have these two enabled, let's go to the actual captures here. So this is your essentially your iFacial mocap, which is your iPhone, and this is your VNC, which is your webcam. Okay, now webcam, right? So by default, your port should be this 39,539. Usually it's by default, and this is your local IP. Now that we see this right here, we gotta use the applications. So there's two apps that I said you can use, right? So first we're gonna do the webcam motion, the one that I'm using, which is the paid version. Okay, so let's actually open that so I can show you guys what that looks like. So now we're here officially at the webcam motion receiver. This is your external VMC. So this is one of the apps that I'm using. This is the one that I like to use because the tracking is really good. As you can see, my hand is showing, and this is what simulates my movements when I stream live. It's very good, actually. I like it a lot. So essentially, this is not using your iPhone at all. This is using your webcam. Now, two things happens when you use this VNC. There is an external smaller app. I'm not sure if it shows it on OBS, but it gives you an option to use your webcam, and you can hide the webcam too. So if you're a little afraid of seeing yourself, there's a hide webcam button, and essentially you click your webcam, and I leave the resolution at 6040 by 360, and it works just fine. Okay, you don't need to change anything like that. Now the most important thing is, when you have the paid version of this application, right, you will see up here, send to external app. Now, this is the most important thing. This is very similar to the other app I'm going to show you too. You're always going to use send to external app. Now, here we click on this. Now, you will always see this. This is always by default, right? Now, in order for my model to actually start tracking movements, I have to start this right here. This is already set up by default. Look, it's the similar port we saw in Warudo, 39539. So all you really gotta do is hit start. Boom. Okay. Now that we hit start, guess what? You should be able to track this in Warudo. And actually, I have to switch it back to Warudo because I'm using a different one. Oh, okay. My model just zoomed in, but yeah. There you go. You got hand tracking, okay? Now, a lot of VTubers like Demi and all them other ones, they use this as well for tracking hand tracking. Because, like, buying, like, actual trackers is expensive, right? Why not just literally use a webcam? Because using a webcam is much more easier than buying trackers. So, there we go. So, there you go. Hand tracking is enabled, okay? Now, I'm not done there. I told you I'm going to use another one. So, let's actually go to that process. Alrighty guys, so let's start with XR Animator, right? So this is the second app that I'm using right now. Now to enable this, it's going to be quite similar to the other one. There's just more process to it. Simply when you start the app, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, it's going to have a start button. It's called Electron, but I'll put the GitHub on the description so you can actually click on it. So this is what the app looks like. It's completely free, like I said. I don't use it personally because it's a little bit more unstable with the hand tracking, but it is another app that is good, you know, because people still use it, okay? So first thing you want to do is enable the webcam. Enable selfie camera webcam media file, put yes. Use the webcam that you have for your PC, which in my case is HD Pro. Okay, It's gonna take like maybe 5 seconds, and your webcam should turn on. My webcam turned on, me indicating that it's now tracking. Now the question might say, well, I enabled my webcam, why isn't it tracking anything? Well, you have to enable it. So go to motion capture here. Now we're not doing face because we're using the iPhone already. We're not using our body typically just by itself. We're using our body and hands. Boom, easy. Now you just zoomed in, and you can actually use your scroll wheel to zoom out. And guess what? I'm not really sure if it showcases here, but let's move it a little bit. You see this blue line here? Hey, guess what? That is you. It's actually tracking. As you can see, this model is now moving. It has decent tracking too. See, it's good, decent. Okay. Now remember, you gotta have this app running in the background in order for you to actually use it. Now that we have the hand tracking going on, right? I changed the scene a little bit so you can see it better. We have to do one more step, right? In order for you to actually have this hand tracking on your model in Warudo, you have to put it to the VMC. Hey, guess what? We did this earlier. You click on that, and guess what you gotta do? Right, so as you can see, by default, it's already at port 39539, so you don't really have to change anything, okay? Now, the most important thing you want to do is make sure all these are enabled. VNC protocol is on, set the camera data on. We're gonna use the app Warudo. You could leave the display, this 3D model on, so you can see your tracking, or to save some GPU, disable it, and you should be good. Now, the only thing will be remaining is the tracking little screen. And once that's all done, you hit done, and it should by default just track Warudo. And as you can see, my model here just jumped out of frame. So we're gonna have to actually move this brother 360 degrees because I don't know what happened to this guy. So all right, let me see if I can flip this guy. Alright, so as you can see, my model has moved 360 degrees. So I'm trying to move this guy back to frame. Okay. Move, and boom. Alright, guess what? Hand tracking is enabled. Okay. As you can see, the hand tracking is much more slower than the other app. However, it's still good. You don't get ghost hands, okay? It's still good tracking, okay? See, you don't get ghost hands. It's actually pretty decent tracking. I personally like it. Like I said, it's really a personal preference on what app you want to use. However, I've been using the other one because I have a paid license for it, so I might as well use it. But that pretty much should be all. Yeah, you should be ready to use hand tracking when you live stream. To conclude our video, right, about hand tracking and all that, here are some things that I will mention about hand tracking when it comes to streaming, right? First of all, I have a 4070 GPU and an i7 is a beefy computer, okay? When I play Apex Legends is a AAA game. It uses a lot of resources, okay? Normally, when I don't stream, I get 300 FPS. When I do stream, I lose frames, okay? It probably loses like 250, 260. When I use Warudo, I probably get maybe like 250-ish. Now when I'm using hand tracking, I do lose more frames. Probably like maybe 230, 220 consistently. It really depends. Sometimes I get 240 FPS. If I play from a different server, I probably get maybe like 200. I never drop below 190 or 200, but I'm always in range between 220 FPS and like 250 on average when I'm streaming, okay? So just know that this app uses resources, okay? There is ways to optimize each of the app. Each app has their own way to disable GPU usage and more CPU. So you gotta figure out which is the best settings really for these apps. And that's a whole different thing, right? I only use the apps how it is, you know, maybe disable here and there. Like the bottle I showed, I disabled it to save some GPU on it. So keep that in mind that it is resource intensive to use a lot of apps as well. Now, the thing is, I use 3 different apps, right? I use 3 different apps, okay? 3. I use Warudo, Um, I use StreamerBot, and I also use this hand tracking. Okay, so that's three. Okay, that's three of them. So I'm using three apps now. Of course, iFacial mocap is a different app. It's running off my phone, so that really doesn't affect anything. And of course, OBS. OBS will always be my goal for my streaming. So keep that in mind. Okay. Now other apps might be open, like Spotify might be open, Steam might be open, Discord might be open. So obviously, it uses resources the more and more. And as you can see, the tracking here is a little bit slower than the other one that I paid for, but it's still just as good. So that's the only key things to know about the apps and software. But like I said, if you're not streaming FPS games and you're playing something very chill, Repo or Subnautica, something very chill, or just not something that isn't GPU intensive, then hey, guess what? Hand tracking is so nice to use. It's a plus. It's a given. Not only can you interact more, it's more expressive, right? You can showcase people. What do you want to say? Now, of course, there's things like my monitor right now is not tracking really perfectly well with my mouth or anything like that. But there's different things you can tweak out with the mouth stuff, right? I have the A-E-I-O-U customized to my mic, so it's more sensitive. So now like all these mouth parts just tracks better. Okay, so that's another video we can talk about. It's really up to you guys. Make sure you comment like what other stuff you want to see, or if you guys want to talk about blueprints as well. I am more happy to share some of my blueprints or any other stuff too, like StreamerBot. I'm an open book. Okay, I want you guys to be able to create good content, be able to create exciting content, and be able to enjoy stuff that bigger streamer use, right? A lot of people say, just because that guy has like 200,000 followers on Twitch, and I can never be like that. Now, guess what? There's people like me who are not even that big, and guess what? I'm using apps that they're using, but they don't really showcase how to like program it. So there, anyways, that's a whole different conversation. Hope you have a good one. Stay wonderful, make great content. I love you guys. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. You will see me mode a lot playing Apex Legends, but that's my favorite game. So anyways, have a good one. Bye.